The Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 trailer just dropped, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and kind of theory craft what I think is going to be happening in here. And then, of course, when the game actually comes out, we'll be playing it and doing some deep dives into the lore and into all the monsters that we see in the game. So let's see what's actually going on here. That's not a good way to start. What is that? That's not blood. What is that? Is it Play-Doh?
Down here. It's not like anything you've seen above.
Okay, that was interesting.
Hell.
So Poppy's still alive. That's good. I thought she was going to be dead.
Playtime wanted.
Where the last game ended.
Now what's this?
The doctor. I know that.
The doctor.
Yep.
He works with the prototype. Commands everything down here. Hunting
Why does that sound like Patrick low-key? Oh, is that
There are no
Yarnaby?
places you can hide.
I think that's his name.
Not from me. I've got something special and more.
I need to make this right.
Oh, that was creepy. So those things are going to be alive. The smiling critters are back.
Hurry, let us in!
They look a little different.
You lied to me!
Okay, what is this thing then? It's Play-Doh.
Follow me.
But it's good, maybe? Okay, that's interesting. Safe haven. So let's go and take a look back and just break down some of the things that we see here. So interestingly enough, it looks like this goop here is actually Play-Doh, and maybe this guy is going to be helping us like Poppy did in the previous games. And I assume since he is made out of clay or Play-Doh, he will likely be able to get into areas that are blocked off or sealed in some way, which will be helpful considering that it looks like we're in a prison or some type of holding area. I assume that this is where they actually kept the children that they were planning on experimenting on in the future, since we know that Sweet Home is where they held the orphans who had already undergone some type of testing. And it looks like they tried to make a little play area for the children here, which is why we actually see this hopscotch square here, even though there doesn't look like there's anything else really child friendly over here. But I think the high walks here make it very obvious that this is just a way for the scientists to observe the children in another area. And even though it's kind of obvious by now, Poppy even confirms that this was all a part of Playco's plan, basically to experiment on these children and do a bunch of evil things. And speaking of Poppy, another thing that I found interesting in this trailer is that a little bit later, we see this sign here that says Safe Haven. It looks like a bunch of children are being held together by the Play-Doh Man, who I found out is actually named Doughy the Dough Man, which I guess in all honesty, I probably could have guessed. But if you look here, you can see that Poppy is X'd out, and I think this tells us that Dough Man was trying to protect Poppy and the other children, and they didn't know that Poppy was actually taken and placed in that display case, which is why for them, they say that she left us. And this makes me think that Poppy probably isn't evil, like some people still kind of theorize, but she's just misunderstood because people don't know what actually happened to her. But I wanted to point this out because this is another reason that I'm thinking that this Dough Man is probably going to be an ally to us, even though a lot of people still think that he may end up being some type of villain. Later in the video, we also see a bunch of adult bodies that seem to be rotting away down here. And I think that this may be where they put the workers who didn't want to follow the rules and hurt the children, which is why it looks like they're shackled to various objects, which on one note is a terrible way to die. But when you think about it as well, it is simply pure evil because there were a lot of ways that they could have got rid of these people, and it looked like they basically made them starve to death. We also see the doctor pop up here, whose name is Harley Sawyer, I believe, but I'm just going to call him the doctor moving forward. And it seems like he's going to have control over these exoskeletons here, which give like huge FNAF vibes. But the thing that I think really scares me about this guy is that he can basically use these robots to spy on us wherever they are, which is why I think he has so many of them so that he can kind of spread them out and then take control of them wherever he needs to be, which is why he says the line,
There are no places you can hide. Not from me.
I'm really excited to see how they implement this mechanic into the game and what else these like exoskeletons can do, because I know they're not just going to be for monitoring. I have a feeling based off this scene right here that they're probably going to either be following us or they're going to attack us in some which way or form. It seems that we're going to have a few more enemies as well to fight against. The first ones being these little evil versions of the smiling critters. And while checking the wiki, I found out they're actually called the nightmare critters. And they're actually made to be like the opposite of the smiling critters, or the antithesis of the smiling critters, if you want your word of the day. We also see that Yarnaby was released to hunt us down, and he looks like an absolute tank. And I hope that they really utilize him and make him a menace in the game. because he can literally split his face open like those monsters from that movie where you can't make a sound. I can't remember, but I'll put it in the video. It would be a shame if he barely made an appearance in this chapter. But if all that wasn't enough, Pianosaurus also makes an appearance here, and it looks like he's just gonna be straight up charging right at you, or at least that's what it looks like in the trailer. No shocking around like catnap for this guy right here. He's just going full in. I like that this trailer kind of left us on a cliffhanger because we get to see that Kissy Missy is still alive and that Poppy's obviously still alive, but it seems like somebody has lied to her, which is why she says that line here.
You've lied to me! I need to make this right.
So I'm curious to see exactly who that was and what they lied about. But I think more importantly, I'm happy to see that this game is getting like darker and darker with each chapter. And I really hope that this chapter focuses more on that aspect, meaning like the characters and the atmosphere instead of the puzzles. Because this game really shines with like the characters, the voice acting, the story, and the atmosphere of everything around, right? The environment. And if they really capitalize on it with this game, I think this will be the best one yet. Because graphically and by story-wise, it looks amazing so far. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, check out this video on the screen here. Subscribe today to become a member of the Horse Force, and we will see you tomorrow with another video. Peace, peace.